Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast match reaction for our final pre-season game against Valencia. Don't worry, I've just booked into Specsavers because I feel like I've gone blind watching that. It's that blurry. I'm not prepared for Newcastle away now. That high up, having watched 90 minutes of pure blurry football. So I'm going to try and dissect what I've seen. How was it for you, Ryan? How's your eyesight?
I can hear you, but there's like three of you. Oh, hold on a minute. This is what I've been doing, Rob. I've been drinking beer all the way through the game, and I'm reversing the effects of drunkenness. So instead of getting triple vision after some beers, I've actually reversed it, and I'm seeing all right now. So
to be fair, back on it. At 90 minutes, mine was kind of getting a little bit less blurry, but I don't know whose camera we've just got. I mean, whether it was, I know that Metsala Stadium is quite high, but I don't know whether it was like recorded off someone's phone or like just like a basic camera, like flip phone from like 1990, but it weren't the best coverage, was it? But we'll try and do our best to dissect the game. I think for me personally, the biggest probably talking point was the starting lineup. I think that was the most telling thing from this game. I think that back four of Pau, Mings, Konsa, Cash was pretty telling in itself. I would imagine that is pretty solid for Newcastle, along with the double pivot. And you go with McGinn, Diaby, Watkins, and it's whether Bailey is in place of Buendia or Philogene. For me, I think that was a pretty solid Villa lineup. What are you saying regarding that lineup then, Ryan?
Yeah, it's pretty much there, isn't it? We've debated what was going to go on at the back, and I think with them back three, I think you're either going to shift it to the right and have Konsa as that right position and Lucadine and Moreno comes in, or you shift it back to the left on how we play tonight and Cash is the more advanced, because sort of at the end of last season, I was quite worried that we might become too predictable, that we know we'd attack up the left, but now with the option of Cash and be able to shift the defence across, that gives us that option as well. So as for the double pivot, yes, there's whether Tielemans fits in somewhere as well within that structure, but it pretty much looks solid. And yeah, it's the Bailey position at the minute that seems the one-ups for grabs for Saturday.
Yeah, and I mean, the game in itself was completely different to Lazio, and my positives I would take out of that game were Aston Villa in third gear, completely dominant, winning a football match. That is what I take from that game. You know, positional awareness, shape of the team, very solid against La Liga opposition. I don't think there's much more to take away from that game, that we've had a very strong pre-season. In parts, we've looked absolutely blockbuster. In parts, the shape of the team looks really good. And then today, we've seen a game that was pretty much in control from Villa. One bright moment, one bright move, bang, clinical Watkins. For me, great finish. Great move. And that was Villa in a nutshell. That's all we needed to do. And I think if this was a European tie, we win it quite comfortably. Premier League, pretty solid. So I think, again, just solid Villa. Like, shape of the team, very good. Individual performances. Actually felt like going through the motions a little bit today, probably because no one wants to get injured, but we did enough. We were in control. Soon as Coutinho comes on the pitch, it starts to open up and he looks like it's like slow motion vibes, and everybody else has slowed down, and he's able to just do what he wants. And that's in a nutshell how I saw that game. How did you see the game?
Momentum for me, Luke. That is what's key. I think it's one of the greatest tools to have in football. And from Brighton through the summer series and with these 2 European games, it's just carried on through, hasn't it? And it's built nicely, ready for Saturday. You know, we've remained unbeaten through pre-season. Yes, I know it's only pre-season and it's only the fitness that counts, but you know, you'd much rather go into the season unbeaten. And it's been a perfect start. And the last 2 games, Lazio and Valencia, have given us a taste of European football. We've got the draw on Monday at 1:00 to see who we're going to be playing in the playoffs. And for me, right now, it feels right that Aston Villa are playing these teams. It feels right that we're playing Lazio's and Valencia's and we're beating them. You know, for Emery, it's right for him as well. 16 consecutive seasons playing European football, and it continues. He's obsessed with Europa competitions, and it just, the taste buds are ready now, isn't it, for the conference. So tonight we've been so comfortable, and you can see why everyone's starting to talk about us. We're on trend at the minute, and we're an emerging force, and we just look so comfortable tonight. We restricted Valencia to a couple of pot shots from outside the area. I think it was Perez, wasn't it, that had a couple of shots, and by 70 minutes they were drained. They were niggling at us. You know, they were irate. They'd run out of ideas, and we was in full control. And like you say, when Coutinho come on, like he did against Lazio, he made an impact. Where me and Justin sat for the game on Thursday, we was pretty much in Coutinho's eye line, and he was just finding that space in the middle, unmarked, when everyone's tired legs. He's got a fresh mind, and he's finding space. He's turning, he's picking out players. He was absolutely brilliant. The game itself, I thought it was a good test, to be honest, Luke. I thought tactically they set up. It was a carbon copy of our setup. They had the back three, they had the advanced fullback, they had the 2 up top. It was that when we tried to counter them, then that they had the 4-4-2. So it was a carbon copy, and it was a good test. I thought, especially the second half, where they pressed us a lot more. I thought our passing out in the back was superb, because they went with a bit of bite, a bit of intensity, and a bit more numbers than what you see in the Premier League. There's not many teams that start with 2 up front. So they sort of pressed us with 6, and we dealt with it, which was very reassuring for me. I thought it was really good. And defensively, did they really offer anything against us? Not really. They targeted our left side a couple of times, but which was what Lazio did as well, but with no joy. I thought we were superb. I thought we were solid. I thought the back was solid. The midfield, Kamara, like his defensive duties that he picks up on, there's so many times where he covers the defenders, and you can see why he probably played centre half a bit, didn't he, during his Lyon days, and you can see why, because he covers the centre back so well. Luis, absolute baller. He's insane, and he's insane. He's incredible. Cash looked better as well going forward, and Watkins took his goal so well. It was clinical, wasn't it? It was clinical. Yeah. He got on that half turn and nothing else in his mind but to find that bottom corner, and it was a superb finish. So all in all, a really, really good night for Villa. I thought the setting of the ground, there's a good crowd there, and all I could hear was Villa fans. So all them fans out in Valencia are going to be having a good night tonight. They've had a good day. I've seen that on Twitter. There's a lot of videos knocking around. But excellent 2 days, because we played Lazio Thursday and we played Valencia away on Saturday. So real good workout with real positives. Yeah,
I mean, shout out to the Villa fans. You could hear them, but you couldn't see them because it was that blurry. But yeah, so I think a very good performance against a different type of opposition. I mean, if you look at collectively over pre-season, we've played a League 2 team, we've played 3 Premier League teams, we've played a Serie A team, and we've played a La Liga team. So we've had a variation of teams. Obviously, we've had the intensity of Premier League teams, which is, for me, the best type of opposition you can face. I mean, a tough Brentford team, a counter-attacking Fulham team, a resurgent Newcastle team, which have got a balance of everything: attack, decent midfield, decent defence. Those 3 games have been very, very good, because what you want is you want the pace. What we don't want is to arrive at Newcastle on Saturday and potentially they've had a very intensive pre-season. We haven't. Their intensity levels are sky high and ours are really low, and we struggle to live with them. What you want from pre-season is to have the same intensity, if not better, than what they've got. So the fact that we've both predominantly played on the same tour should mean that we are kind of at the same. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Then I think for the European competitions, we've had a flavour of playing a Serie A team, different styles. It's like boxing in it. Styles make fights, etc. So we've had a taste of a Italian side and we've had a taste of a La Liga side. And I think we've learned a lot through pre-season. And what we have learned is the fact that this 3 at the back, whether it's a 3 at the back and the left back goes on, or a 3 at the back and a right back goes on, we've really worked on our system and our shape. And whether it's what we've seen on a match day, they have been working on this shape all through pre-season. We see pre-season as the 6 games that we've played, but the pre-season, the work behind the scenes, it's so intense. There's probably been double sessions, there's been tactical sessions, there's been set piece sessions, there's been attacking sessions, there's been defensive sessions. There's been everything over pre-season, and from what I've seen, we've evolved. We've evolved from what we were last season, and that's the biggest thing for me. And I'm very big on pre-season. I remember under Gerrard, and I feel like I won't have to keep going on about this, but it always felt with that period and that side that we had to get through pre-season. We had to have a good pre-season for him to get his ideas across. But what has this pre-season done with Unai getting his ideas across, his core principles across? And I think that is absolutely massive. And for me, we've had a fantastic pre-season, not just because we've gone unbeaten. That doesn't mean anything to me. If we'd have lost against Fulham or lost against Brentford, it doesn't matter. It's what we've seen. It's the pressing. It's the defending. It's the shifting from attack to defence. It's when a team come forward and we're just so calm and composed. And I even take a sense of positivity of the fact that the last 2 games we've played, both teams have been absolutely rattled. You see the Italians going in on us, them getting rattled. Tonight, you see Valencia getting rattled. And that's all a part of our system and our shape and our suffocation of what we are doing to opposition teams. And, players like Watkins get a lot of stick and a lot of, he's not going to get 20 goals, or we need another striker. You've just seen what he can do. Give him one chance, bang, clinical. He's only had one chance tonight, hasn't he? And he's just stuck it away. And this shape, the system, you're seeing the substitutions of Tielemans coming on, Coutinho coming on. And it's just it just opens up. And I can't be more proud of what they've done in this pre-season and how they've worked and what I've watched to what they've portrayed on the pitch. And I think it's put us in such a great shape going into this season. And we will go into the season in detail. We've done our season preview. You're going to have a season predictions from us. And then from Tuesday, we are in full Newcastle mode. And I don't think I've ever experienced a better pre-season than this. What are you saying about this pre-season? Because it just feels like the preparation here, like, it couldn't have been any better.
No, I echo everything you just said, Mr. Robinson. Echo it. It's been, for me, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I can't see how it could get any better.
No.
We got our signings done early. You feel the 3 that we have signed right now were targeted, weren't they? They were targeted for our system. They were our top choices. We got them in early, and we've integrated them into our system. You know, we ended the season with a good spine, didn't we? Of Mings and Konza and Louise and Kamara, and up top Watkins, and we've just reinforced that spine, putting Torres in that spine. It's got bigger. Tillemans in the midfield, that spine's got bigger. Diaby up front, we're more dynamic. You know, that spine now, that core, it's got stronger, and it's evolved all through pre-season, and it's been managed to perfection. We've found a nice balance of youth. Philogene Badate has got his opportunity. He's took it. Looks like he's going to be in and around the squad. We've seen great experiences for Kellyman, Revan. We've also seen a good balance of minutes for everybody. You know, you've got an idea of our main 13, 14 players, and then you've seen Callum Chambers come in and share the minutes. So as a squad, as a collective, it's been brilliant for anyone. I've got no negatives for anybody. No negatives, really, from who I've seen play. There's obviously a few people that have missed out on this tour, like Duran and Dendonka and Traore. So, but the rest of the collective group feels very tight. The squad, the harmony in the squad just feels unreal. Like, you know, they all look like a group of mates playing together. And when you've got that camaraderie and that respect for each other, and you're willing to go out and die on the pitch for each other, and that feels like I think Emery said it, he wants the squad to feel like a family, and it does feel like a family. He's just brought it all together, and we've seen what Emery done in a couple of weeks during the World Cup when he got the squad, and he weren't even the full squad, you know, Emmy and that lot were away at the World Cup. So we've seen the effects after that from that period of time there, and now he's had a full-on pre-season, no distractions now, no tournaments. You know, we're through the pandemic now, so it's going to be a nice chilled season, no interruptions, no World Cup breaks, and we've had the perfect prep for it. We have had the perfect prep. I don't think we could be in any better shape. We might see some people leave, we might see some people come in still, but I don't think it's going to affect us. I think going into the season now with this squad, with this team, we're in perfect shape. And if we do get a couple more through the door, it will enhance that squad. It will enhance it. So I'm very happy where we are. Look,
and what I would say is that what has impressed me is the philosophy of Villa at the minute. It's the style of play that's impressed me. And what I mean by that is you can see from every single game that we've played what we're trying to do. Now, that is basically a fundamental shape. So whenever I do my episodes, I'll always talk about the 3-2-4-1 or the 4-4-2 or the 5-3-2 when we're sitting in a low block, right? For me, that's just the standard Villa formation, right? That I've seen across the 6 games. Now, that is not technically the full Aston Villa, right? The full Aston Villa is when Unai Emery sets up the team per Newcastle, per Everton, per Burnley. What do we do to beat Newcastle? What do we do to beat Everton? So you fundamentally know how we're going to play, how we're going to set up, what our identity is. But where our manager comes into his own is the fact that we don't play the same every single week. And that is the key. So, for example, we might have been done a couple of times with a player that might cut in on that left-hand side on Pau Torres. But his detail when he plays against Newcastle will be, you do not allow Almiron on his left foot. So those little details of positional awareness, etc., or whatever Emery wants to do per game, those are the finer details, and those aren't the details of what we've seen on pre-season, because he's not going to go into that much detail because it's pre-season. It's about shape, it's about balance, and I think that's a chink in our like weaponry of what we've still got to come, like the detail side of things, the meticulous detail from our manager. So for me, what I've been excited about is the foundation formation of, say, a three at the back being more of a three at the back. It's not a tucking inside, it's the fluid press. It's, it's like when, say, like a Kamara goes forward and Luis might tuck back a bit, and then vice versa. It's everybody knows their positions, and I think that's a strong thing that we've seen from pre-season. So for me, that's been one of the biggest positives that I've seen, and I think we go to the under-23s, like we say, and we see the culture of what happens there, and I just think we're in a really, really good place. And I think no side, I don't care who it is in this league, will not want to play Aston Villa this season. Like, even Pep at Man City, like, he will know whether he comes to Villa Park or we're at the Etihad, that they're going to have a very, very difficult game. And I think that's the position that Aston Villa are in now. These European games, okay, maybe Luis has started and a Kamara, no bother. We'll just put a Tielemans in there and we'll be fine. It really doesn't matter. As long as that personnel are to a very good standard, it doesn't matter who's in the side. And I've kind of seen this in pre-season. Like, when a Coutinho comes on, you'd think the levels are going to dip a little bit. And early on in pre-season, that's what we saw. I think it was against Brentford, like, second half was just a complete washout. But the last two games, personnel are coming on and the game sort of like increases pace. And I think that's like a massive thing for us. And I think we've never had that before. And, I'm just really, really excited. And I think another thing, my final point that I want to make is the fact that we've got a young player in Philogene Bidace. And he was on loan at Cardiff, and, he was okay. He did okay. He didn't set it alight, but he was a solid player. And look what Emery can do to a player like that, who is very young, very raw. He's not at the top of his game. We haven't spent 20, 30 million on him. But are you telling me Philogene looks no different to any other player that currently has been on that pre-season tour? Because I think he has just got as much as a chance of starting against Newcastle as Bailey has. And that is a testament to good coaching. And I just think it's just amazing, the fact that how dangerous we're going to be this season. The fact that we've got a young kid who has been playing in the Championship, who looks like he's played for Villa for the last 3 years. So I think that's a big thing that I've took out of pre-season, really.
I had a feeling about Bidace. I think I said it on our end of season review that Bidace had been at Stoke, and I was looking forward to seeing him come back because he was someone different, physical, very balanced, very intelligent winger. And I just thought, you know what, Emery could spot something in him. And I think one more takeaway from pre-season is the versatility of the players as well. You've talked about the system and how we tweak it and how we move it. It's also the players that move as well. We've seen it tonight. We've seen the versatility of our front line. We started with Bailey on the left, McGinn on the right-hand side, and Diaby and Watkins up top. Midway through that half then, McGinn went up top with Watkins. Bailey shifted over to the right. Diaby went to the left. You see in the double pivot that at times Kamara will be the deep at. Luis will push forward. Then we've seen Kamara going forward and Luis staying, and similar with Tielemans as well. You could also see Torres on the left and Mings in the middle. You could see them two swap. Yeah, it's so flexible and versatile, and these players are are dangerous when they move. Like, you might think McGinn's starting on that right-hand side and you might target him, and then he goes up top with Watkins and he finds space, and he's as potent as he is on the right-hand side as he is up top. They are really fitted into the system, and like you say, it's just detail, it's just drilling it into them. And like you say, if someone targeted Pau Torres and you say not to let Almiron go in the left, if he does, I think there's going to be a deeper plan than that. Right? If he does, Kamara, you cut him off there. You know, I reckon it goes deep and deep and deep and deep, and it's just drilled into him. And like you say, I think the summer series we were working on more of our attacking, more of our shape.
Yeah.
You know, we let some soft goals in. There's a few diagonal balls that made me a little bit nervous and stuff like that. But the last 2 games in the build up to the week our season kicks off, it's tightened up. It's tightened up, and it'll be tightened this week, won't it, Luke? It'll be fully locked in this week. And yeah, I feel like we're in a really good place. We've had a couple of nightmares, haven't we, the last 2 seasons, opening games, but we cannot get any better prepared than what we are now.
Yeah, and I mean, finally, you know, my point is, and I said this as soon as the fixtures came out, give me a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you give me a good team, you know that you're going to go to St. James's Park, they're going to be up for it. The atmosphere is going to be amazing. They're going to be raucous. It's a 5:30 kickoff. It's live on Sky. You have to turn up. If you don't turn up, you're getting walked over. So
that's elite Premier League football, isn't it, Luke?
Exactly.
That's what you're here for, this level of eliteness.
So the fact that Villa know this, that you can't not turn up, you've got to turn up. You know, it's technically a game against a top 4 team. You can't have
it's Champions League
there.
Champions League.
So you can't turn up there expecting to just go through the motions. So the fact that Villa know that, Emery will know that, puts us in an even better position, because we've got to play well. And I expect us to play well. And I'm really looking forward to it. And like we keep saying, whether we win, lose or draw, we will give every team we play this season a game of football. And I think that is the biggest thing. So for me, it's been a brilliant pre-season. Can't wait for the season. We've got our season preview out tomorrow. We will then have our season predictions out, which are going to be quite lively, quite fun. So stay tuned for that.
Quite embarrassing by the end of the season.
Yes, hopefully, yes. And then we're going to have, hopefully, the overlap content will be coming out. So I'm on the overlap on Monday. So stay tuned for that. Either watch it on Sky, watch it on YouTube. I'm going to get content on this channel apparently as well. So you'll be able to watch it on here. And then we will have all of our content for the season, our bread and butter. If you are new watching us, and I know a lot of you are new who've subscribed through the summer, you wait till we get going. You wait till you start.
We're back, baby.
You wait till you start seeing our content cooking over the course of a week. So, yeah, you're going to absolutely love it. And, you know, great pre-season. Up the Villa.
Up the Emery.